This is what the narcissist secretly thinks about you now, after a long separation. Old Stoic wisdom. Time has passed since the end of your relationship with the narcissist. Whether you walked away, they left you, or it was a quiet, unspoken parting, one thing is certain: separation has occurred. Weeks, months, perhaps even years have passed since you broke free, and you might have thought that you were finally free of their grip. Yet in the deepest recesses of their mind, you're still present, still haunting them, not because of love, but because of control. You might think that a narcissist simply moves on, but that's rarely the case. While they may act like you're insignificant, pretend to have forgotten about you, or even slander your name to others, the truth is much darker. Narcissists don't easily forget those who walk away from them, and what they think about you now, hidden from the world, can be shocking, revealing and deeply insightful about who they really are. This content will uncover the things a narcissist secretly thinks about you after time has passed, giving you clarity on why they just can't seem to let go. We'll explore how they rewrite history to serve their narrative, how they monitor your life from a distance, and how they continue to manipulate even from afar. You may be wondering whether a narcissist truly moves on, or if they're secretly holding on to the past. This content will answer that, shedding light on the twisted inner world of a narcissist. Take a moment to reflect on this. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Zrania. Let's begin with the first secret thought they harbor about you. You represent something they lost, but not love, not connection, not even you. What they lost was control. You may not realize it, but to the narcissist, you're not a person. They never saw you that way. Instead, you represent something far more significant to them, a symbol of something they lost. But let's be clear, it's not love, nor connection, nor even your unique self that they mourn. What they truly lost was control. Narcissists feed on dominance. Their entire existence is woven around the belief that they are superior to others, that they are admired, that they are needed. When you walked away, especially if you were someone strong, independent, and emotionally grounded, you shook the very foundation of their carefully constructed reality. They thrive on having the upper hand, and your departure shattered the illusion they'd built. You were a piece in their game, a pawn they thought they could control indefinitely. The moment you stopped playing, it exposed their vulnerability. That, my friend, is what cuts deeper than anything else. Don't let them fool you by claiming they've moved on, or that they no longer care about you. It's all a mask, a thin veneer to protect their fragile ego. What they're really doing is constantly thinking about you, not because they miss you or care about how you're doing, but because your exit forced them to confront the fact that they can't control you anymore. Your absence has become a symbol of their failure, a glaring reminder that they too are human and subject to loss. Your power, your independence, and your refusal to be manipulated have left them grappling with the loss of control. That's the bitter pill they can't swallow. What you were to them was not love. It was not care. It was power. You were someone they believed they could manipulate, someone they thought they could string along for as long as they needed. You were a tool for their validation, their source of control and superiority. But when you walked away, all of that crumbled, and that stings deeply. They'll never admit it to anyone, least of all to you, but inside, they're rattled. You were a reflection of their dominance, and when you disappeared, they were forced to reckon with their own insecurity. They'll never say it, but what they miss is the control they once had. They miss the way they could twist situations, manipulate emotions, and make you feel small, because that gave them power. The narcissist thrives on superiority, and when you escape from their grasp, it was more than just a breakup. It was the death of an illusion, the end of a reign they had over you. And that's why, despite what they may show on the outside, you linger in their mind. You're a reminder that even they can lose control, that not everyone can be manipulated into submission. Understand this: the narcissist doesn't miss you for the right reasons. They never saw you for who you really are. What they miss is the power they wielded over you, the control they lost when you left. So don't believe for a second that they're better off, or that they've truly moved on. They're still watching, still obsessing over you, still trying to regain what they lost. You must stand firm in the truth. You weren't a person to them. You were a possession, a means to an end. Your departure was not about you. It was about the control they could no longer exert. That is what they secretly think about you even now, long after the separation. 2. They replay every interaction with you in their mind, not to reflect, but to rewrite history in their favour. When it comes to narcissists, you might feel like you're stuck in a loop, a never-ending cycle of twisted self-justification. Even after years of separation, they replay every interaction with you in their mind. But don't fool yourself. It's not about reflecting on what went wrong or seeking personal growth. No, it's all about rewriting history in their favour. You must understand this. Narcissists don't reflect. They reinterpret. Imagine this. A narcissist doesn't see themselves as the villain. Never. They see themselves as the hero, misunderstood, perhaps even the victim. Have you ever noticed how narcissists are allergic to admitting fault? Even years after the fact, they won't say, "I was wrong." Instead, they dig into the mental archives, going over every conversation, every argument, every glance that might have been interpreted incorrectly. The funny thing? They never take accountability. Instead, they twist the events, reshaping them to make themselves appear justified. This mental replay isn't about growth or learning from mistakes. It's not about becoming a better person. No, this is about maintaining their carefully constructed self-image. They have an elaborate mental narrative they need to uphold. Every time they think about you, they reinforce a version of the past that places them in the most flattering light. You were never the problem, they were. In the narcissist's mind, you weren't hurt. You were simply too sensitive. You didn't walk away from the relationship. They claim you abandoned them. They make themselves out to be the martyr, the wounded soul, and you. You were the cold, unfeeling one who failed to recognize their brilliance. But you must realize this. This rewriting of history is their defense mechanism. It's a survival tactic for their fragile ego. The Stoic rules teach us the importance of accepting reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. And what is reality here? The narcissist's history is far from the truth. Their delusion protects them from guilt, allowing them to sleep at night knowing they were right and you were wrong. You can't expect a narcissist to suddenly change their perspective or admit their mistakes. It's not in their nature. Remember this. You must protect yourself from the narrative they create. You've probably spent too much time second, guessing yourself, wondering if you missed something, if you were indeed too harsh, too cold. Don't. The truth is, you were probably just trying to survive in a relationship where truth wasn't part of the equation. The narcissist doesn't live in the same reality as you. They live in a world they control, where their ego dictates every decision. When you apply practical stoicism, you learn to detach from this. You stop internalizing the false narratives they create. Be clear about one thing. You cannot change the past. You can't rewrite history. But what you can do, what you must do, is accept it. You don't need their approval or validation. The only thing that matters now is your peace of mind. The Stoic way is to focus on what you can control, and that is how you react. The narcissist will continue their mental replay, sure, but you have the power to detach from it. Do not let their distorted version of reality affect your present. It's time to move on, unburdened by their manipulations. In the end, narcissists will always protect their fragile self-image. They will continue their mental dance of denial and self-justification. But don't get caught in their web. Be the Stoic. Live in truth. Practice the Stoic rules, and don't let the past dictate your future. Let them hold on to their narratives, but you must stand firm in the truth of who you are and the strength you gained through the ordeal. 3. They monitor your life from a distance, even if you've cut contact completely. The narcissist keeps an eye on you, whether you like it or not. Even when you've cut all contact, they still monitor your life from a distance. It's almost guaranteed they'll check your social media, ask mutual friends about you, or even show up out of the blue after months, maybe even years, of silence. But here's the truth. They're not doing this because they care about you. They're doing it because they are measuring their own worth against yours. They want to know how you're doing, but it's never out of genuine concern. It's to feed their insecurity. If you're thriving, they feel threatened. If you're struggling, they feel vindicated. And if you found happiness without them, it drives them into a frenzy. Your success without them cuts deep, shattering the false narrative they've clung to for so long, that you needed them. And here's where the problem lies. Narcissists define themselves through comparison. Their entire existence is built on how they measure up to others. They can't stand the idea that you might have moved on and found happiness on your own. It's not just a blow to their pride, it's a crushing blow to their fragile sense of self. In this way, they become obsessed with tracking your progress, not because they care, but because they're trying to validate their own existence through you. You must understand, you can't afford to waste your energy on these toxic comparisons. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The narcissist's need to measure up to others is rooted in an endless void of insecurity. They are forever chasing something they can never attain. Peace. Their life is a constant, desperate need for validation. But you're above that. You don't need their approval. Stoicism teaches us that the key to peace is understanding what you control and what you don't. You don't control their actions, but you control how you respond. You can choose to let go of the past and rise above. You must never look back. As Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Here's the powerful truth. The narcissist's obsession with you is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their deep-seated weakness. It's not about you, it's about them. And they can't stand the idea of losing control over your life, so they hold on to the past with everything they've got. But you must resist the temptation to fall into this trap. You must keep moving forward. You are the master of your own life, and no one can steal that power from you. They want to see you fail because it validates their twisted worldview. But you know better. You know that victory is not about competing with them. It's about winning the battle within yourself. Let me make this crystal clear. You are not defined by their actions. You are not defined by their opinions. Your worth does not hinge on their approval. You must hold your ground, stand tall, and never look back. As the Stoics remind us, the ultimate victory is in mastering your own mind, your own emotions, your own life. The narcissist may try to drag you back into their web of control, but remember, the path to freedom is within you. Don't let their insecurity steal your peace. You must rise above it. You have the power to control your future, and it starts with letting go of their need for validation. That is your victory. You must never lose sight of that. When you stop seeking validation from toxic sources, you free yourself. It's the only way to truly win. The narcissist may be forever trapped in their endless cycle of comparison, but you've already won. Through the teachings of Epictetus and the wisdom of Stoicism, you understand that true power lies not in external approval, but in your ability to control your inner world. In the end, it's not about them. It's about you, and your unshakable commitment to your own peace and success. So don't let the narcissist's twisted game steal your power. Keep moving forward and let them stay stuck in their endless comparison. You have the wisdom, the strength, and the determination to live life on your own terms. You must do it. You will do it, because that is how you win. If you found this valuable, comment below and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember. I am resilient, and my worth isn't defined by others. Your journey is your own, and no one can take that away from you. 4. They envy your independence and strength more than they'll ever admit. You think they hated you, don't you? The insults, the gaslighting, the constant attempts to make you feel small, They were relentless. But deep down, far beneath all that venom, something else was stirring. It wasn't hatred at all. It was envy. Yes, envy. They envied you in a way they'll never admit, especially not to your face, not for your looks, your success, or the things they claim to despise about you. No, what they envied the most, what gnawed at them in the quietest corners of their mind, was your independence. It was your strength. It was the fact that, despite everything they threw at you, you could stand on your own 2 feet. You could walk away. You could rebuild your life. And that, my friend, terrified them. Why? Because narcissists are not like you. They are emotionally fragile, hollow inside, relying on external validation to even feel like they exist. Without the approval of others, they crumble. But you had something far more valuable: resilience. You had the kind of strength that didn't need anyone else's approval to survive. You had boundaries, something they couldn't comprehend. They couldn't break you because they couldn't understand that you were already whole, already strong. Every attempt they made to diminish you was a reflection of their own insecurities, their own inability to stand alone. They tried to wear you down, to make you feel small, to keep you in a state of dependence. But every time they succeeded in pushing you down, you stood back up stronger. And that truth, that simple fact, terrified them even more than anything they could say or do. They saw it, deep down, even if they would never admit it. You were stronger than they would ever be, and that's something they could never face directly. So instead of confronting it, they buried it under layers of contempt, denial, and projection. They made it about you. They tried to convince themselves and everyone around them that it was you who was weak, you who couldn't handle things. But all they were really doing was hiding from their own truth. They were the ones who needed others to survive. You, on the other hand, you were made of something far stronger. And that, more than anything else, is what they can't stand. They envy your independence. They envy your strength. And though they may never admit it, deep down, they'll never stop fearing you for it. Don't let them convince you otherwise. Be proud of the fact that you are stronger than they could ever imagine. You must embrace that strength, that independence, and know that you are better off without them. Never doubt for a second that your ability to walk away, to build yourself back up, is exactly what makes you a force to be reckoned with. That is the truth that terrifies them, and it's the one they'll never admit. 5. They miss the attention, not the person. You're not missed for who you are, but for what you provided. One of the most dangerous myths surrounding narcissism is that narcissists are incapable of attachment. Let's be clear. They do have attachments, but they are far from healthy. The key difference is that their attachment is always about their own needs, about how you made them feel. It's never about you. You must understand this. The narcissist doesn't miss you. They miss the role you played in their life. You were a prop in their drama, not a partner, not a lover. You were the listener, the admirer, the cheerleader, the one who constantly validated their existence. And when you're gone, what they truly feel is the void left behind. This is where the Stoic rules of self, awareness, and self-control come into play. Stoicism teaches us to detach from our ego, to recognize that the world does not revolve around us, and that true contentment is found in internal balance, not external validation. Narcissists, however, never learn this. Their whole existence is an endless loop of needing others to affirm their inflated sense of self. They are prisoners of their own vanity, and once you walk away, they are faced with the harsh reality that their primary source of ego fuel is gone. This isn't love. It's dependency. It's need. You were their mirror. You must realize this now. Narcissists don't love the person in front of them. They love the reflection of themselves that they see in your eyes. You were their mirror, reflecting their best qualities, their supposed greatness. When you left, that mirror shattered, and they are left staring at their own emptiness, unable to recognize the true self beneath all the masks. It's this constant game of validation that feeds their fragile self. Worth. And the emptiness? It feels like a vacuum. Now, after the separation, the narcissist might attempt to pull you back in. They might call with fake apologies, grand gestures, or sudden declarations of love. But here's the catch. This is not about reconciliation. This is not about you. This is about them reclaiming what they lost, control over you. They don't seek a genuine connection. They want to restore their self-esteem by getting you back into the role you played. It's the same play with a different act. Don't fall for it. It's easy to fall prey to these manipulative tactics, but you must stay strong. Understand this fundamental truth. You are not a tool for their ego. Narcissists need to feel superior, and you are just another object that helps them achieve that. Do not be fooled by their sudden kindness or emotional outbursts. It's a facade, a well-practiced mask they wear to lure you back into their toxic web. You must embrace the principles of practical stoicism now. Let go of the need for external validation. Recognize that true strength comes from within, and that nothing external, no grand gesture, no apology, no promise, can change who the narcissist is at their core. Stoic wisdom teaches us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond to them. The moment you stop feeding into the narcissist's narrative is the moment you reclaim your power. They miss your support, your admiration, and your validation, not you. To a narcissist, people are interchangeable. It's not the actual person they miss. They miss the roles you played in their life. You were their support system, their mirror, their source of constant admiration. The moment you stop being that, they feel the loss. But it's not an emotional loss, they feel ego loss. They miss what you did for them, not who you were. This is where your strength lies. The more you understand the true nature of a narcissist, the more you can protect yourself from their emotional manipulation. The more you embrace Stoic principles, the recognition that you cannot control others, and that your value doesn't lie in their validation, the stronger you become. You are not their source of happiness, and their attempt to manipulate you is a reflection of their inner turmoil, not your worth. Remember this. You must stop thinking that their feelings for you have anything to do with you. The narcissist's feelings are always centered around themselves. Once you understand this, you free yourself from the shackles of their toxic influence. You must see their actions for what they are, an ego-driven attempt to control, manipulate, and ultimately use you. Don't let them. Let the wisdom of Stoic rules guide you. Embrace practical stoicism. Build your own sense of self that doesn't rely on anyone's approval but your own. Only then will you find true freedom, true independence from the narcissist's grip. They won't love you, but you can love yourself. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. 6. They blame you for their failures, even the ones you had nothing to do with. Narcissists never take responsibility for their own shortcomings, no matter how their life is falling apart. Whether it's their career, relationships, or finances, they need someone to blame. And you, my friend, are often the target of that blame. Even years after you've walked away, the narcissist convinces themselves that everything went wrong because of you. They'll claim that after you left, they lost everything, that you ruined their chances at success, that you took something crucial from them, that you made them unstable. Understand this. It's all a lie. It's their ego at work. The narcissist is projecting their own weaknesses onto you because they cannot face the truth of their own flaws. This act of projection is their way of avoiding responsibility. It's their cowardice speaking, not their clarity. They see you not as an individual, but as a convenient scapegoat. In times like this, remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens. This statement carries profound weight when dealing with narcissistic behavior. The narcissist's refusal to take accountability doesn't mean you should take on that burden. Their failure is theirs to own, not yours. It's their lack of self-awareness, their failure to adapt, and their refusal to grow that has led them down the path of self-destruction. They will never acknowledge this. They will never admit their role in their own downfall. Instead, they will forever look for someone to blame. But here's the truth. This is not your fault. The narcissist will hold onto this twisted narrative to maintain their fragile ego. But the sooner you realize this, the sooner you reclaim your power. You must break free from their mental trap. You must refuse to let their distorted version of reality have any power over your life. It's a game they want you to play, a game of blame, manipulation, and false guilt. But you are stronger than that. You must rise above. The narcissist wants you to believe that your absence is the cause of their misfortune. But in reality, it's their inability to take responsibility and learn from life that's led them here. They want you in their head, and they'll use any excuse to drag you back in. But don't allow it. You have a life to live, and it's your life, not theirs. In the teachings of Epictetus and Stoicism, we learn that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. Your power lies in your ability to detach from their false narratives and stand firm in your own reality. Don't waste another moment living in their story. Let them spin their webs of blame, but don't get caught in it. The narcissist has long moved on from seeing you as a person and now sees you as a reflection of their own inadequacy. That's what makes them dangerous. Their focus isn't on their personal growth, it's on finding a target for their misery. Let that target not be you. The best revenge is not engaging with their lies. The best victory is stepping into your own power. Keep your focus on winning in your life. Recognize their tactics for what they are. A desperate attempt to control your emotions, to keep you tethered to their false reality. You must master your own life. Understand that you hold the keys to your peace. Do not allow their failure to become your burden. Let them blame you, but refuse to take on the weight of their accusations. You've won when you stop letting their chaos infect your mind. You've won when you let their twisted thoughts fade into the background. You must keep moving forward, just as Epictetus advised. Live by the principles of Stoicism. Focus on what you can control and leave the rest behind. The narcissist's life is a reflection of their inability to accept responsibility. Your life, however, is yours to shape. Make it count. You will win. 7. They relive moments of conflict, not to heal, but to justify their behavior. Narcissists don't look back on past conflicts with the intent of healing or learning from them. No, they revisit those moments solely to reinforce their delusions. You must understand that this is not about self-reflection or growth. Healthy individuals reflect on arguments to learn, to improve, to understand where they went wrong. But not the narcissist. They relive the same moments over and over to justify their own behavior and validate their skewed view of the world. Every fight, every heated exchange, every accusation, no matter how hurtful, is merely another piece of evidence for their personal case. To them, it's a court of law in their mind where they're the prosecutor, judge and jury, all rolled into one. And you? You're just the defendant, forever guilty in their eyes. Your words, twisted and distorted, are ammunition for their argument. Every innocent action on your part is recast as something malicious. They don't care about the truth. They care about maintaining their self-righteous narrative, one where they're always in the right, always the victim. They replay your words with the sole purpose of extracting some fault, no matter how insignificant. They reinterpret your actions, bend them, stretch them, until they fit perfectly into their preconceived story. The narcissist's mind isn't interested in a fair and balanced perspective. No, it's obsessed with one thing: proof that they are justified. They need to believe, deep down, that they were in control the whole time, that they were never the problem. This is the core of their thinking. It isn't about seeking closure or peace. That concept is foreign to them. For them, it's about confirmation that they were right all along. It's a constant battle to affirm their superiority, to reinforce their narrative that they are, and always have been, the true victim. You must realize that the narcissist's twisted worldview is not open to compromise or understanding. They don't want to hear your side. They don't want resolution. They want dominance. The more they replay these past conflicts in their minds, the more they convince themselves that their behavior was justified, that they never did anything wrong. Don't be fooled into thinking that one day they'll reach a moment of clarity or self-awareness. That is a fantasy. Narcissists live in a bubble of their own making, a reality where they are always right, always justified. And as long as they cling to that, they'll never understand the damage they've caused. You must stop trying to make them see your point of view. That is a battle you will never win. Understand this. When they relive these moments, it is not for introspection or growth, but for the sole purpose of keeping their narrative intact. This isn't about finding peace, it's about confirming that their actions, no matter how toxic or harmful, were always correct. The narcissist cannot grow because they refuse to accept any form of responsibility. They are masters of self, deception, and their mind will go to great lengths to protect them from any form of self-doubt. You must break free from this cycle. Don't let their distortions cloud your reality. Understand that their reflections are not about understanding. They are about preserving their fragile ego. If you truly want peace, stop engaging in their mind games. If you've reached this point, you've seen the truth. The narcissist doesn't reflect to heal, but to justify their actions. They replay conflicts to confirm their narrative, never seeking closure, only validation of their self-centered beliefs. Now, I want you to take a stand. Comment below with this: I refuse to let their twisted narrative define my truth. By doing this, you're embracing your own clarity and strength. Take action now. 8. They fear that you've exposed them to others, even if you haven't. The narcissist fears you. Fear, not love, is what keeps them up at night. They fear that you've exposed their true nature, even if you haven't said a word. They fear that others will see through the illusion they've carefully built. They fear the cracks in their perfect facade will finally show, and that fear is what keeps them tangled up in their thoughts about you. The reality is, narcissists live in a constant state of anxiety. The charming, confident exterior they project is a shield, hiding the insecurities that constantly gnaw at them. They fear that someone, you, for example, might expose their carefully crafted persona for what it truly is: a hollow, fragile shell built on manipulation and deceit. You must understand this. Their reputation is everything. Narcissists thrive on validation from others. They depend on their reputation, their status, and their charm to maintain control over those around them. So when you leave, especially if you've shared your experience, whether by speaking out or simply making your exit known, the narcissist's world begins to crumble. Be certain, their fear is not about your relationship. It's about them. The world they've created is built on lies, and when you start exposing those lies, they lose their grip on the power they so desperately need. This is why they'll continue to obsess over you, whether or not you've actually told anyone the truth. Don't underestimate the power of your silence. Even if you've stayed silent, the narcissist assumes the worst. In their mind, you're plotting your revenge, spreading rumors, or at the very least, thinking ill of them. Their paranoia is a monster that never rests, and it's this paranoia that keeps you alive in their thoughts. Every time they think of you, they picture you sharing their secrets, telling the world who they really are. But let's take a moment to reflect on some old Stoic wisdom. What others think of you is none of your business. In practical Stoicism, the focus is always on what you can control, your own thoughts and reactions. The narcissist may fear you, but you must remain detached, immune to their insecurities. Let them worry about their own reputation. The narcissist's fear of exposure is their own prison. This constant fear of exposure is suffocating for them. But here's the thing. You don't need to do anything to keep them trapped in that fear. They imprison themselves with their own delusions. They live in a world where their identity is based on how others see them, and that's a prison they can never escape from. Think about it. Every time they look over their shoulder, they wonder if someone else has figured them out. They wonder if you've told someone their secrets. They wonder if their mask has slipped just a little too far. And in their mind, these fears aren't just possibilities, they're certainties. So they're always on edge, always trying to maintain control. but Stoic rules teach us that true strength comes from within. You must realize that it's not your job to expose them. It's not your responsibility to reveal their true nature. They'll do that themselves, in time. Your power lies in not caring about their fears, in not letting their paranoia affect you. What you can learn from their fear. Here's where practical Stoicism can teach us a valuable lesson. Do not fear what others think of you, especially someone as volatile and insecure as a narcissist. They may try to manipulate your emotions, create doubt, or gaslight you into questioning your reality, but you must stand firm. Their constant need for validation is their weakness, and it is their greatest fear that someone will see through it. And don't forget, you must trust in your own judgment. The narcissist's world is built on lies. They want you to second-guess yourself, to doubt your perceptions, to believe that their fake world is real. But you know better. You see through their act. Take this lesson to heart. You don't need to expose them. Their own fear will do that for you. In the end, the narcissist is left alone with their thoughts, haunted by the fear that the truth will eventually come out. And that is where their downfall lies. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. It really helps to keep the channel growing and to keep bringing you insightful videos. If you have any thoughts or feedback about today's topic, or if you want to dive deeper into anything we discussed, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'm always happy to chat with you. Until next time, remember, understanding and wisdom are key. Stay strong, stay wise, and take care of yourself.